Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Adventures in the Forgotten Realms draft. Now, today, I'm kind of wondering what we're going to pick. I still don't think Vorpal Sword is where we should be in Limited. Target creature blocks this turn if able, and at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, pay 2 life, and if you do, draw a card. I mean, that seems kind of good. Trickster's Talisman also seems somewhat interesting. There are some good blue creatures. Obviously, like Hobgoblin Captain, Dueling Rapier, I could take those cards and then try and cut red. Charmed Sleep is pretty good removal. I think I want to try Trickster's Talisman. We'll see what happens. So in this pack, there's Check for Traps, which I think is just lay bare the heart. Reveal their hand, choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card if an instant or a card with flash is exiled with this way, they lose 1 life. Otherwise, you lose 1 life. Okay. That could be good. I kind of want to take Shortcut Seeker. One of the things I've realized, I did a couple of test drafts off camera to try and get better at this format, and the cards that, when you deal combat damage, venture into the dungeon, are really good. So, like, Delver's Torch is another good example. The question is, do I want to take Check for Traps, Delver's Torch, or Shortcut Seeker? And honestly, I kind of want to take Shortcut Seeker. Okay. Blink Dog is a great equipment payoff. Demogorgon's Clutches. I've had pretty good luck with this Mind Rot effect. I think it's really strong, giving you reach because it damages your opponent directly. I think I'm going to take Soul Knife Spy, though. It's the only blue card in this pack, so I kind of want to cut off blue as hard as I can. In cases of, like, minimal difference. I'm kind of liking Thieves' Tools out of this pack. Obviously, like, taking a +2 Mace or a Dwarfhold Champion could be okay. Taking a Leather Armor is somewhat fine. Although I think Leather Armor is better in aggressive decks. Spoils of the Hunt is a one-sided fight spell. Thieves' Tools makes a treasure and then can guarantee these creatures can connect. So I think we're probably playing blue-black here. Okay. I do like Secret Door. There are some circumstances where you can get into dirtily situations and nothing's happening. You just like pay 5 mana and venture into the dungeon. Contact Other Plane, I think, is actually a lot worse than it looks at initial pass. Like, generally, like, Divinations are playable, and Inspiration, which is like 4 mana, draw 2 cards at instant speed, is often playable as well. But I think I'm going to take Silver Raven. There are some tricks you can do with Silver Raven, and it does wield equipment quite well. Charmed Sleep, definitely what I want here. Planar Ally also isn't bad. Venturing every time you attack is pretty good. But we're probably blue-black and not playing a double white spell, so I think I'm going to take Charmed Sleep. Another Trickster's Talisman, another Secret Door. Then there's also a Pixie Guide and a Dueling Rapier and a Leather Armor. Pixie Guide might be the play, because there is some good die rolling in blue. It's just focused in blue-red. I don't know if I want to play 2 Trickster's Talismans. I'm not entirely sure if that's good or not. I mean, it definitely is with Thieves' Tools, because we can, like, guarantee certain creatures hit. We do not have a lot of creature... Yeah, I'll take... Shoot! I didn't check the timer, so I didn't even see that pack. I definitely took the wrong card. Okay. In this scenario, I'm seeing a lot of white cards coming around. I'm going to take Ranger's Hawk. And we're probably going to end up taking white cards. I don't really like Check for Traps. I think I would rather have Delver's Torch. And blue-white is an archetype. That's generally the quote-unquote adventure archetype. I don't like Potion of Healing, but I will take Demogorgon's Clutches. +2 Mace or Dwarfhold Champion. I kind of like the Mace because equipping to our cheap creatures is good. We have 2 1-mana 1/1 flyers. I can't believe I did that. I messed up a good pick, too, because I saw blue cards. I don't know what they were. I don't think I want another +2 Mace. I'm not sure how great this card is in multiples when you're not playing the, like, Brunor Battlehammer deck. So I'll take Secret Door. Devour Intellect, I guess I can put in the sideboard. Put Plains in the sideboard. Alright. Pack 2. Let's see. Grazilix. Illithid Scholar. 3 mana 3/2. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. That is really good with our 1 mana 1/1 flyers, and is definitely on theme, so I'm going to be taking that. Okay. Barrowin of Clan Under. Enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Whenever it attacks, return up to one creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you've completed a dungeon. The alternative is Arborea Pegasus, which is not bad. Genie Windseer, which is also not bad. I think we can take this, and if we get an Evolving Wilds, we could actually splash Thieves' Tool and Barrowin. So, and I really would feel comfortable if we could get 2 Evolving Wilds, but I'm only going to be taking Evolving Wilds if there are cards, if there aren't cards that are better. Ooh, Teleportation Circle. This card is really strong. Really strong. I am going to be taking this, and I'm going to be looking for anything I can flicker to gain value, and I kind of wish I had taken a Potion of Healing, because this card is good. Even if we just flicker Silver Raven and just start scrying, it's good. We flicker Barrowin, we start venturing into the dungeon, it's good. Yeah, taking Teleportation Circle. Card's great. Okay, so in this pack, there is Krydle of Baldur's Gate. This card's pretty good, because a lot of the blue and black cards have on-hit effects, and this can guarantee an on-hit effect whenever you attack. So I will be taking this. Grim Wanderer is great. Yuan-Ti Fangblade is also great. Precipitous Drop is also fantastic. I really want some Yuan-Ti Fangblades, but I think Hama Pashar is where we want to be here. Getting all of your dungeon's abilities twice is quite strong. I like Shortcut Seeker, so I think I will be taking Shortcut Seeker here. Power of Persuasion is somewhat decent as far as removal goes. Scion of Stygia is pretty great when it comes to blinking, though, so I'm going to do that. I guess it is... No, we want Potion of Healing because we took Teleportation Circle. I'm going to take Shortcut Seeker again here. I don't know that I want any double white cards. We already have some double blue cards, and we're planning on splashing blue and black with no fixing currently, other than maybe some treasures that we can make incidentally from Dungeoneering. There's an Evolving Wilds. I would like Clattering Skeletons, but I think Evolving Wilds is a little bit better for us here because we don't have any fixing yet, and we're trying to play 3 colors. And it is another 4-drop, which we have a lot of already. You find the Villain's Lair, I think I will take. Bar the Gate is fine. I don't think we really want to be playing counterspells in this deck, but this one, we could at least loot away some excess lands or something. Yeah, this counters any spell. I'm taking that. I guess I'll take a Zombie Ogre. I'm not playing probably either of these other 2 cards, but it would be interesting if I actually ended up playing Zombie Ogre. I can take Feign Death as a combat trick, and you see the guard approach. Well, it's a card that's on color. Island into the sideboard. Okay, well, on to pack 3. Gelatinous Cube. So, when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-ooze creature an opponent controls until Gelatinous Cube leaves the battlefield. Then black X, put target creature card with its mana value X, exiled with Gelatinous Cube into its owner's graveyard. Alright, so it's like a creature Oblivion Ring. This would be splashing. This would be absolutely splashable in this deck because it synergizes with Teleportation Circle so well. It is a rare, it's going to be strong. Yeah, we're taking Gelatinous Cube. Alright, I do like Precipitous Drop. The alternative is taking Veteran Dungeoneer. Because we have Teleportation Circle, we can just enter the dungeon every turn. We don't really have a lot of removal. We have a Charmed Sleep, we have a Counterspell, and I guess we now have Gelatinous Cube to take out stuff that's on the battlefield. I'm going to take the Dungeoneer. No, I'm going to take Precipitous Drop. Hopefully we see another Dungeoneer somewhere. There's one right here. Monk class. Second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less. When this class becomes level 2, bounce a non-land permanent. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. For as long as it remains exiled, you may cast the spell until as long as you've cast another spell this turn. I'm definitely taking Monk class. The rare classes, if you're on color, generally are pretty good. Gloomstalker is a Dungeoneering payoff. Yuan-Ti Fangblade. This card is actually quite strong. It's another one of these Shortcut Seeker effects. This one has Death Touch, so I will be taking it. I generally don't want to be playing multiple Demogorgon's Clutches. Hired Hexblade, I think, is probably fine. Planar Ally is really strong. It's just double white, but I'm probably playing it over a Steadfast Paladin. So, Another zombie ogre. Our mana is getting really difficult. I don't think we can play Bar the Gate. I might want to take a Dawnbringer Cleric here, just because I do have enough creatures, no matter how my mana situation shakes out. Like a Gloomstalker would be fine, a Shambling Ghast or a Zombie Ogre would be fine. But Dawnbringer Cleric actually is a pretty great sideboard card, or even main deckable card, because being able to destroy an enchantment matters, gaining life matters, and occasionally exiling a card from a graveyard might matter. So I think I'm going to take this, if nothing else, as a sideboard card. It's also a great flicker target, like just being able to destroy enchantments over and over. If we have Teleportation Circle and need to, we can gain life. So, another Hama Pashar or another Ranger's Hawk. I think we're going to take the Legendary. The Ranger's Hawk is fine. The problem is we don't have any way to like really take advantage of the 1-mana flyers. And Silver Raven is a lot better, both with like the equipment that we have and Teleportation Circle. So I'm going to take Hama Pashar. Another Fangblade is great. Veteran Dungeoneer came all the way around. So we're probably playing... I think we are playing Esper, but we're going to have to make a lot of cuts. Bag of Holding or Veteran Dungeoneer. I'll take the Dungeoneer, I guess. Our curve is getting kind of tall, but... I mean, we do have the Teleportation Circle shenanigans. And there's a lot of cards that we have that we're not probably actually playing. Like, we may not be playing Feign Death. You see a Guard Approach is kind of questionable. We may not even be playing Trickster's Talisman. Because while we have some good stuff to copy, I'm not 100% sure that, you know, we need to. I'm going to take the Pegasus. The Pegasus can help stuff hit our opponent. I don't think we're going to need to draw a bunch of cards with something like Sudden Insight, so I'll take Gloomstalker, but I'm not sure I'm playing it. Paladin Shield in the sideboard, another Gloomstalker, and Forest. Okay, so, in theory, we can somewhat fix our mana with our Dungeoneering. Because on, like, everything but Tomb of Annihilation, there's a way to make a treasure. It just means that we're not taking the other modes. That also implies that we're venturing into the dungeon 2 or 3 times before needing mana. So, I don't think I'm playing Trickster's Talisman. I may not be playing Feign Death, but that might change. I'm going to drop the Mace. The Dawnbringer Cleric I'm going to set aside for a minute. I'm not playing Pixie Guide. Thieves' Tools makes treasure and can fix. Monk Class and Krydle are both really great. Gloomstalker, I don't really need. 3 mana for a 2/3 with Double Strike. Like, assuming that I get the dungeon stuff is good, but it's not... I don't think it's better than some of the stuff we have. Soul Knife Spy gets a bonus for connecting. Charmed Sleep's one of our few pieces of removal. Grazilax pays off for hitting our opponent. I don't think we're playing a counterspell. We may not be playing the Mind Rot. Precipitous Drop Ventures, Yuan-Ti Fangblades are great. This gives us 2 triggers for any time we connect with our opponent. I like my entire 4-drop slot, except maybe Arborea Pegasus. But like everything else ventures into the dungeon. So in reality, I'm only running 27 cards right now. And then I need to... I'm still playing slightly too many creatures. So let's group creatures separately and see what's going on. I'm going to cut Secret Door. I can bring it in versus aggro or versus a really, really dirtily deck. Especially if we're having trouble with our mana. I probably should cut Zombie Ogre and Planar Ally. Both. I already have double black in the deck for Gelatinous Cube. So what this deck is actually looking like is I'm playing blue-black and then splashing white for like Hama Pashar, Veteran Dungeoneer, and stuff. I could cut Ranger's Hawk. Really, the only thing that Ranger's Hawk is good with right now is Delver's Torch. But then I'm cutting a lot of my early game. Alright, so I'm going to cut Planar Ally and Ranger's Hawk. It wants me to play 6, 6, and 4. And I'm going to play an Evolving Wilds instead of a Plains, because Plains... I don't need Plains until turn 2 at the earliest. So we're going to try it like that. Now, we have a lot of good stuff in the sideboard, and I could easily justify building the deck a number of different other ways. But I think this is a fine place to start. We have ways we can sideboard into if we run into problems. So I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, we won the die roll and we are playing first. And I kind of like what I see here. We're not doing anything huge until like turn 5, but potentially there's some pretty good payoffs to be had here. We're going to start Plains, then Island, because if we draw an Island and need to Charmed Sleep something, we can. Opponent plays a Silver Raven and gets to Scry. Okay, we draw another Plains. That's excellent because we did need the 4th mana. Play Delver's Torch. The only way this hand got better is if we, like, had our Silver Raven in the opener and could stick this torch on it. I'd like to draw the blue-white legendary we have, Hama Pashar. I would like to draw that creature this turn. That would be excellent. Opponent plays 50 feet of rope and hits us for 1. Okay, we go to 19. We draw Shortcut Seeker. So play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain, then plays Zorn, hits us for 1. We go to 18, untap, we draw Silver Raven. So I have a few different options here. I could play Silver Raven and equip Delver's Torch. I could play Veteran Dungeoneer, or I can play Shortcut Seeker. And I think I want to play Veteran Dungeoneer because I want to get the Dungeoneering train rolling. If we draw a land, this makes Silver Raven Teleportation Circle an excellent play next turn. I'm going to go to Fan Delver. So we scry, Shortcut Seeker. I think this goes to the bottom. Pass the turn. If we don't draw a land, playing Silver Raven and equipping Delver's Torch might be the play. If my opponent attacks with Zorn, I don't think I'm going to block, because there's a really good chance they have a combat trick or magic missiles or something like that, and I do not want to lose this Dungeoneer just yet. Opponent plays a Jaded Sellsword and attacks us for 1. Okay. We take 1, untap, we draw an island. So, play an island. We can either play out Silver Raven and Shortcut Seeker, or Silver Raven and Teleportation Circle. I'm going to play out Silver Raven, and let's get a scry. Gelatinous Cube. Definitely leaving that on top. Play Teleportation Circle. And we're going to flicker Veteran Dungeoneer and get a treasure token at our end step here. We're not attacking. No reason. I just don't want my opponent to block. Us losing this creature right now would be very bad for us. Go to the Mine Tunnels. This gives us our second black mana for playing Gelatinous Cube next turn. Opponent plays a Swarming Goblins, and they roll to get 2 goblins. They attack us for 4. I don't really want to trade. I'm going to take 4 here. We untap. We draw Gelatinous Cube. So, play Gelatinous Cube. And let's exile a Goblin token, because it's free to do so. Then we can either flicker Gelatinous Cube and take out a larger creature, or we can venture into the dungeon and take out a larger creature with fungi caverns. I think we do the flicker the cube play. And I'm going to exile the Jaded Sellsword rather than the Swarming Goblins, because if my opponent happens to have a way to kill Gelatinous Cube, I don't want them to get the Enters the Battlefield trigger all over again. Opponent attacks and attacks. I'm going to attempt a trade here, and we'll take 4. Go to 9. Opponent plays a new Silver Raven, gets to scry, then plays a land, then we untap, we draw a swamp. So play a swamp. It takes 5 mana to exile this creature permanently, or to put it in my opponent's grave, which I can... Oh, I can't do because I don't have a treasure. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is suit up the Veteran Dungeoneer, go to combat, and attack, venturing into the dungeon. Is my opponent going to tap it? I'm just going to flicker this creature, dude. We'll go into the Fungi Cavern, shrink the Zorn. Okay, opponent takes the damage. Sure. Then we will Charmed Sleep the Goblins. And on our end step, flicker our Veteran Dungeoneer. Venture down to the temple and draw a card. We get a Potion of Healing. So we've got our Phyrexian Arena combo assembled. I mean, it's probably... What I'm doing is probably worse than just flickering the Gelatinous Cube over and over again, right? But kind of hoping to draw a land, if we're being completely honest. Opponent plays a land, and they are out of cards. Opponent attacks for 1 in the air. That's fine. So we untap. We draw Yuan Ti Fangblade. Takes 5 mana to exile this guy forever. I get Potion of Healing and try and draw a land for Ultimate Greed. And if I do, the payoff is amazing. If I don't, the payoff is kind of minimal. So let's just do this. Put that card into its owner's grave. Then we will pass to our end step, flicker the cube, take out Battlehammer, because that guy seems like he's going to create the most, the biggest swing for our opponent. provided my opponent draws any equipment. And they play a Den of the Bugbear. Okay. Opponent attacks us for 1. We take 1 and go to 7. Man, Teleportation Circle is an incredibly powerful card in Limited, just constantly buying back all your stuff. Opponent finally starts venturing into the dungeon, and they are going to Tomb of Annihilation. So they're trying to drain us out of our life as quickly as they can. We untap. We draw Thieves' Tools. So I can play Thieves' Tools, make a treasure. Then I can stick Mr. Battlehammer into the grave. Then I can pass turn. And I can flicker the Gelatinous Ooze. This is a really broken combination of 2 rares, let me tell you. Take out the flyer, because it's annoying. Okay, opponent animates Den of the Bugbear. Then plays Plundering Barbarian. They're going to destroy one of our artifacts, I think. The Teleportation Circle, thankfully, is not an artifact. Okay, they're going to get rid of the torch. That makes sense. But are they really attacking us? This does not feel like a good attack for our opponent. But it could be, I don't know. Okay, then they pass. We untap. We draw Plains. That's actually perfect. So now I can play Potion of Healing. Draw a card. Monk class. Alright, play a Plains. Now I have 5 mana. I can pay 2 mana and put this in the grave, then play Yuan-Ti Fangblade, and either flicker the cube, taking out the Zorn, or flicker the Dungeoneer. Either way, let's do this. I do want to get this Shortcut Seeker out as quickly as I can, but having another creature which can block super effectively here is very nice. So let's pass to the end step, flicker the cube, take out the Zorn. We literally have the Abyss going. My opponent has ventured into the Abyss. The Abyss known as the Dungeon Roomba. So my opponent is going to venture here, and we are going to lose life unless we discard. We're going to discard Monk class. I don't think we need it. Opponent goes down to 13. Then they play a Plundering Barbarian, so they can kill Thieves' Tools, or they can kill our Potion of Healing if they want to keep our life total really low. Okay, they're going to kill Thieves' Tools. That stops us from just, like, infinitely damaging them with Yuan-Ti Fangblade. Ooh, okay. Now we're talking. Let's play Pashar. This way, when we go to the Yawning Portal, we gain 2 life. Alright, go to combat. And we will attack with the Fangblade. Opponent does not block. Okay, so let's go to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Gain some life. And I think what we're going to do is play slightly conservatively, play out another blocker, and then we're going to flicker Veteran Dungeoneer and get 2 Scry 1s. So first Scry, Scion of Stygia. It's not a bad draw, but I think we can do better. Bottom both, pass the turn. So we're planning on going to the Twisted Caverns and just saying like our opponent's entire board can't block. Or can't attack. Opponent plays a Swarming Goblins. Okay, that does make our plan a bit worse. I'm going to say Fangblade does not untap next turn. That's reasonable. We untap. We draw Krydle of Baldur's Gate. So play Krydle, go to combat, and attack with Shortcut Seeker, and pay 2 so it can't be blocked. So we can either get a refund on 2 mana, or we can say 2 creatures can't attack until our next turn. If I get the 2 mana back, I can put Zorn into the grave and then like heal myself with Potion of Healing. So I actually think the Bazaar is better now. So I get 2 treasures. Let's get rid of the Zorn, then gain life. I could flicker Shortcut Seeker to get an additional blocker. Otherwise I can get 2 Scry 2s. Or I could Gelatinous Cube to take out, like, a Swarming Goblins. Actually, that's just best. That was the whole point of this plan, so we're doing this. Take out their biggest guy. I mean, this feels pretty rude. This must be really frustrating to play against right now, that much I can tell you. I probably could have ended this game a lot sooner, too. Okay, opponent ventures into the dungeon. So they're going to go to Sandfall Cell. Each player loses 2 life unless they sack a creature, an artifact, or a land. Honestly, I think I'm fine sacking a creature. I don't really want to lose life. I could have sacked a land there, too. Opponent sacks Swarming Goblins. Then they play Faraday. Devil's Chosen. Alright, so we untap. We draw Precipitous Drop. So, Precipitous Drop. Kill Faraday. Venture into the dungeon. We get 2 Scry 2s. Veteran Dungeoneer and Soul Knife Spy. Put Dungeoneer on top. Then Island to the bottom, Dungeoneer on top. Go to combat. Attack with Shortcut Seeker. Pay 2. Actually, do I even need to? I'm not going to. I'm just going to put... Oh, you know what? Never mind. Kano dumb. Kano very dumb. Opponent does not block anyway. Alright. So we're going to go to the graveyard. Make a whole bunch of skeletons. Then we can pass to our end step. Flicker Veteran Dungeoneer. Venture down to the Deep Mines. 2 Scry 3s. Okay, Hamapashar to the bottom. Plains to the bottom. Dungeoneer to the top. Scry again. Fangblade to the bottom. Island to the bottom. Dungeoneer to the top. I don't even know what we could possibly hit off of the last Venture into the Dungeon trigger. I have no idea. Opponent plays a red dragon, dealing 4 damage to us directly. Alright, opponent passes. We untap. We draw Veteran Dungeoneer. So play Veteran Dungeoneer. We're going to draw 6 cards and cast 2 of them for free. Okay, no spells to cast. Cast Barrowin of Clan Under. Venture into that dungeon. I think we're going to go to the Yawning Portal again, because I want to gain life. We can kind of control how many times we venture and whatnot from this point on. Play a Plains. Go to combat. Attack for 3. We will say Veteran Dungeoneer can't be blocked. And next turn we can just attack with everything. I am going to take Red Dragon from them because I don't want to be hit in the air. Even though that means giving them back Swarming Goblin. Actually, maybe that's not such a great idea. No, I'm still going to do it. So on our end step, flicker the Gelatinous Cube. Give them back Swarming Goblins, and we'll take Red Dragon from them. Opponent gets another enters the battlefield trigger off of Swarming Goblins. They only got 1 extra goblin. We take their flyer from them. Pass the turn. So my opponent being at 4, between Kreidel and Gelatinous Cube, we can just kill them next turn. Opponent top decked a land. Opponent is going to venture into Cradle of the Death God. So they get a 4/4 black god horror creature token with Death Touch. Yep, the Atropol. Opponent passes, and this will be very anticlimactic. We draw a Zombie Ogre. Go to combat. Attack with Gelatinous Cube. Say it's unblockable. And the game is over. That was a very, very long game 1, so I'm actually going to restart the client here. Okay, sideboarding. Opponent is playing an aggressive deck. So maybe I want Secret Door, even though they can just 50 feet of rope over it the entire time. I never felt like I needed a mana dump, though. But that was also because I was getting insane value. Let's just run it back. Alright. So opponent gets to decide whether or not they want to play first. Alright. They choose to play first. I'm going to mulligan this hand. Drawing white mana makes this hand great. Not drawing white mana means we lose. Oh, it's worse. And it's worse. Okay. Put 3 cards on the bottom of our deck. Plains, Island, Precipitous Drop. We have all 3 colors of mana and a card we can play. So we're going to need some good top decks, that's for sure. I could possibly just concede and go to game 3, because we're probably going to need a big clock to try and beat our opponent. But I guess we'll find out. Play Swamp, pass the turn. I should have actually started on Island, because if I drew Monk class as an example, that's something I would need to play on turn 2, but this still lets me play Kreidel if I draw him. Opponent plays Silver Raven. They scry. Then they play a Goblin Javelineer. Interesting. So they had 1 of those cards last turn. They may have just missequenced their lands. Can we get an Evolving Wilds? So play an Island and pass the turn. I'm going to have to be F6ing a lot and really manage my clock. Opponent attacks us for 2 and passes. We draw a Veteran Dungeoneer. So play the Fangblade, pass the turn. We are forced to play Scion of Stygia because I did not Evolving Wilds. I was just kind of worried about what we might top deck and what I might need to try and go for. We draw an island, so play an island, go to combat. Attack for 2. Opponent no blocks, of course. So we'll go venturing into Phandelver. Let's go Scry. Island to the bottom. Second main, play Veteran Dungeoneer. Let's go down to the Goblin Lair, get a 1/1. Pass the turn. Pass to our opponent. They play a second Hoarding Ogre. They attack us for 1 in the air, that's fine. We untap, we draw Potion of Healing. Play Evolving Wilds, go to combat, and attack for 2. Opponent trades with a Hoarding Ogre. Okay, pass the turn. I'm going to get a second white source, I think, next turn. On my opponent's beginning of combat, I am going to tap this Hoarding Ogre. Well, I was worried about being behind on the clock, but my opponent is just in the tank on her end step for no reason. And they've already burned 30 seconds by doing it. And they're still letting time tick down. I really hope I didn't disconnect. Alright, opponent untaps and draws. They go to combat, so play Scion of Stygia. Tap the Hoarding Ogre. Actually, I might Evolving Wilds for a swamp just in case I draw Zombie Ogre. Can't remember if I'm still playing it or not, but it feels like it might be important. Yeah, I can't play and crack Potion of Healing in the same turn, but there's no reason that I should need to, really. Opponent gives up. Alright. Well, Gelatinous Cube, I think, definitely won us that game, whether or not our opponent knew it. But alright, well, I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2, we are on the play, and we need to mulligan because our mana is bad. I feel like that might become a theme. I will keep this, and I'm going to put back Scion of Stygia. Krydle synergizes so well with Shortcut Seeker that I think playing off curve and hoping to draw a land is actually still better than guaranteeing we can play that 3-drop. Opponent leads on a Dungeon Crawler. We draw a Potion of Healing, play Krydle, pass the turn. If my opponent attacks with the 2/1, I am blocking. They play Vorpal Sword. Alright, so very mono-black aggro of our opponent. We untap and draw Thieves' Tools, so play an island. Do I care about taking 4 damage next turn if my opponent equips? Not particularly. Go to combat. Attack. Target our own guy. We're not paying. If my opponent wants to block, they can. Okay? Doing this mainly to get the Scry. Monk class to the bottom. Play Thieves' Tools. This guarantees that I can play Shortcut Seeker or Teleportation Circle next turn. I could play Potion of Healing there and try and draw, but I think this is better. Opponent plays an island. They can equip to gain Death Touch, but it looks like that's not what they're going to do. We take 2, go to 19. Then they play a Soul Knife Spy. We untap and draw Precipitous Drop. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Venture into the dungeon. We're going to Phandelver. Let's get a Scry. I do like Veteran Dungeoneer, but we really, really need to find mana. Specifically white mana that isn't treasure-based. You know what? I will take 4th mana over no mana. It at least gets us to Shortcut Seeker, right? I suppose I could play Teleportation Circle and start flickering Thieves' Tools to make mana. Opponent hits us for 2, is still not equipping Vorpal Sword. Demogorgon's Clutches. Teleportation Circle, I think, is too good to give up. So we'll discard Shortcut Seeker and Potion of Healing, and we mill 2 swamps. We untap and draw Gelatinous Cube. So go to combat, attack our opponent for 1, not paying for his ability. Mill our opponent, they lose a life, we gain a life, and scry, planes to the top. Then play Teleportation Circle. Actually, I should have played Gelatinous Cube this turn, but flicker Thieves' Tools, get ourselves a treasure. This guarantees we can play Gelatinous Cube next turn. Opponent plays a swamp, goes to combat, attacks for 2, still not equipping that sword. We take 2, go to 15. They play Gelatinous Cube. I can't ooze their cube! This is non-ooze creature! Alright, we get a plains. Play a plains. Play Gelatinous Cube. Get rid of Dungeon Crawler. Pass the turn. Teleportation Circle, gonna flicker Thieves' Tools. Get a treasure. Pass the turn. That Mind Rot was pretty powerful. Opponent top decked a land. I think if they attack, we block. Actually, do we? I don't think we do. Because the ability to, like, repeatedly flicker and kill all of their creatures minus a Gelatinous Cube is way too strong. Opponent might make this decision for us. The problem is, if I don't block here, we lose a lot of life. I need to top deck something. which means we're taking 6 damage here. The vast majority of our deck is currently playable. We just need to find something to play. Okay, opponent puts Krydle into the grave. Kind of want to do the same now for this. This is bad if I draw Zombie Ogre, but untap. We draw Veteran Dungeoneer, and never was a happier day. So play Veteran Dungeoneer, go down to the Goblin Lair, get a token, go to combat, attack our opponent for 4, pass the turn, flicker Veteran Dungeoneer, and let's go to, I think, the Dark Pool. Drain our opponent for 1, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. They have 7 mana and they have a rogue class. So they can give their guy Menace, and they do. Which means if we want to kill it, we need to double block. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Actually, is it... If my opponent attacks, do we just kill them by swinging back? Because it feels like that might be the case. Okay, they do not attack. And they scoop. Nice. Alright, I don't think we adjust. I think we just run it back. Our mana has been really terrible forcing all these mulligans, but like our raw power is so high with this teleportation circle. So it's like if we have a good hand, it's amazing, but if we have a bad hand, it's like sort of okay. Island is the card we play the most of. I think I can risk keeping this. Opponent leads on Swamp, passes. We draw a Shortcut Seeker, play a Swamp, and pray we draw an Island. Or even an Evolving Wilds. I would take an Evolving Wilds. Thieves' Tools would be a close third. Island. Alright, Thieves' Tools, like I said, is a close third. Play Thieves' Tools. Make a treasure. Opponent untaps. They attack. Hit us for 1. We go to 19. They make a treasure. They play an island. Then they play a Soul Knife Spy. We untap. We draw Soul Knife Spy. And now we have a decision to make. We can either play Gelatinous Cube and take out their Soul Knife Spy, or we can play Krydle and get hit and let them draw a card, and I think that's unacceptable. So as terrible as this feels, I think it's still what we have to do. Kill Soul Knife, or exile it temporarily, pass the turn. I really hope my opponent does not have removal. They have a Vorpal Sword. So if they're equipping and attacking, I cannot block. I cannot afford to give my opponent back Soul Knife Spy. I think I have to let them make the treasure. So they hit us for 3. They make a treasure. If they have something else, it's pretty bad for us. They have something else, and it's pretty bad for us. We untap Island. Plains. Oh, did I think I was going to get let off the hook? I totally wasn't going to get let off the hook. So if I'm getting hit for 6. I'm going to have to block. That does not feel great. Pass the turn. If I draw an island, we're in a great place, but this becomes a 3-1 Death Touch, so we are going to block here because it forces my opponent to expend mana to re-equip, stops them from making a treasure that they possibly need to cast a 5-drop this turn. If I top deck Teleportation Circle, I'm going to feel so silly. I'm going to drop Soul Knife Spy and a Shortcut Seeker. Then we mill Delver's Torch and Veteran Dungeoneer, both of which are cards we could have actually played. Opponent plays a land and equips. We untap. Come on, Island. I'm so upset about this right now. That Veteran Dungeoneer could have actually mattered by scrying us into a land. If we draw an island, we're still not out of this game yet, especially if my opponent keeps bricking. They're not bricking. They got a playable. It is a Death Priest of Miracle. Death Priest of Miracle. So we get hit for 4, we go to 7. Untap. We draw a Yuan Ti Fangblade. Okay, that matters. Play it. Pass the turn. I am not above trading with the Lightfoot Rogue. Actually, I would probably... Yeah, I still have to trade with the Lightfoot Rogue. No. If they attack with both creatures, I block the Death Priest. Unless, of course, that becomes lethal by critting. Okay, it did not crit. We do have to block if they're just attacking with it. So opponent can pay 1 mana on their end step. They have a Vampire Spawn. That is a problem. They equip the Vampire Spawn, then they get to pay 1. I need an island so bad. There it is, finally. Pass the turn. We are going to flash Scion of Stygia at the beginning of combat. Then we're going to have to do some blocking. Opponent goes to combat. Flash in the Scion. Tap down the Vampire Spawn. It did not frost. That is bad. Opponent attacks with just the skeleton. We're going to take the hit, because that doesn't specify non-token or non-skeleton, so 2 mana. Alright, Gelatinous Cube definitely kills us. It just didn't draw an island. It just didn't happen. Alright, run it back. That Demogorgon's Clutches is doing insane work for our opponent, although they did cast it kind of late last game, so in theory we should be able to get most of our hand onto the battlefield prior to that, but our mana situation is just terrible. We need blue far more than we need any other color to make this deck work. In fact, plains really should be... We shouldn't keep a hand without, like, an island and a swamp. Plains, maybe we can do without, situationally depending, but I do want to play first, and I don't want to mulligan, but I'm not going to. I can Evolving Wilds and get an island, then play Monk class. But then I can't play Thieves' Tools. Any land gets me to Hama Pashar, an island gets me to Charmed Sleep. I think I have to keep this. We can unsummon a permanent one time, so play Evolving Wilds, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp, and is passing. Thank goodness for no Vorpal Sword start. Get an island. Untap. Okay, not a land. That is concerning. Play Monk class. Pass the turn. If we draw a Swamp, we can play Thieves' Tools and Hama Pashar in the same turn. Opponent plays a Horde Robber. We untap. We draw a Swamp. Okay. So play a Swamp. Play Thieves' Tools. Yeah, play Thieves' Tools. Make a Treasure. Then play Hama Pashar. Pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat, attacks for 1. We are going to block. If my opponent has a combat trick, they have a combat trick. Okay, they play a Lightfoot Rogue. We untap. We draw Precipitous Drop. That matters a lot. So Precipitous Drop, venture into the dungeon, go to Fandelver, and we get 2 Scry 1s. We're looking for a land. Shortcut Seeker is not it. Plains is. I don't think it's important to actually attack this turn. Opponent goes to combat, they attack. We are going to block. If they have a Precipitous Drop, they have a Precipitous Drop. They do not. And they need the fixing. So we untap, we draw Plains. Play the Plains. Play Barrowan of Clan Under. Let's go to the Goblin Lair and get 2 tokens. Go to combat. And attack for 2. It's possible I should have made treasures there, but I really don't want to allow my opponent the opportunity to connect. Okay, they play a mountain. They go to combat. They do not attack, and they pass. We untap. We draw Scion of Stygia. So I don't have a way to venture this turn. I could unsummon that Horde Robber, and then just get in a big swing. I think I'm actually going to do that. Bounce Horde Robber. Go to combat. Attack for 7. Take our opponent to 11. Then play Delver's Torch. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Horde Robber again. So we untap. Draw Plains. Play a Plains. Let's equip Delver's Torch. So opponent has removal of some kind. Maybe. Or they're pump faking. Go to combat. This could be their own Scion of Stygia. That would not surprise me. Yep. Okay. We tap our guy. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I'm sort of regretting not getting Mind Tunnel, or going to Mind Tunnel, but I could have equipped this. Maybe I should have. We are forced to sack an enchantment. That's fine. We don't actually need the Monk class. We do, however, need to draw an island. Okay, opponent does nothing. We untap. Nothing else, anyway. We draw another Hama Pashar. Equip Thieves' Tools. Pass the turn, and we will be tapping that Baleful Beholder with Scion of Stygia. Opponent untaps, they draw, they play Displacer Beast, and they get to venture into the dungeon, and they're going to Fandelver as well. So they get to scry, they play an island, they go to combat, so play the Scion, tap the Baleful Beholder, okay? Opponent passes to second main, then they play a Soul Knife Spy. We untap, we draw Shortcut Seeker. So go to combat, attack with Hama Pashar, can't be blocked. So we're going to venture down to the Dark Pool and drain our opponent. I don't want to put any counters on anything, because knowing me, I would be like, oh, this would be a great place to put the counters, except then it should no longer be unblockable. So we hit our opponent down to 6. Then we'll play Shortcut Seeker. I guess I'll pretend to have a Feign Death. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Opponent picks up Displacer Beast. So I think what they're going to do is travel into the mine tunnels to try and get down to Fungi Cavern to at least stop us for a turn. Okay, or not. They're going to the Goblin Lair. They go to combat. Now let's see how they attack. They don't. They play a land. We untap. We draw a Swamp. Play the Swamp. move Delver's Torch, move Thieves' Tools, and the game is over. Nice. All right, well, I'll see you guys in round 3. This might be the first trophy of the league. All right, we'll be on the play for round 3. I think I am going to keep this. If we draw any land, it's good. We could draw Kreidel. We're going to have to Evolving Wilds to get a island, though. Thieves' Tools would be an excellent draw on turn 2. Plains would be an excellent draw at basically any time. So let's fetch an island, untap. We draw an island. That's actually alright. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a swamp. No turn 2 play. We draw a swamp. That's good. That gets us close to playing Zombie Ogre. So play Soul Knife Spy. Pass the turn. We might get aggressive if my opponent plays a blocker this turn and tap it with Scion. We draw Barrowin of Clan Under. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Okay, opponent plays Scion in combat because they want to surprise it, so we'll play our own Scion and surprise the Scion. You cast Cone of Cold. No, I cast Cone of Cold. Theirs was better. We draw Charmed Sleep. That's pretty good. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent plays an island. They play a wizard class. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Gelatinous Cube. We can play the Gelatinous Cube if we just want to get in for damage. Same with Charmed Sleep, but I think the cube is better. I suspect my opponent may actually have a counterspell. Okay, yeah, because they didn't immediately draw cards off the wizard class. Go to combat. Attack for 2. If my opponent wants to trade, that's fine. They don't, that's also fine. They untap. They draw cards from wizard class. Then play a swamp. No attacks. We untap. We draw Thieves' Tools. I don't really want to play Charmed Sleep yet, so play Thieves' Tools, get a treasure, suit up the Soul Knife Spy, go to combat, hit our opponent for 3, and let's draw a card. Kind of hoping to draw land. Okay, we did not draw land. Pass the turn, but Shortcut Seeker would be another good play next turn. So would Zombie Ogre. Opponent plays an island. Grim Bounty, they kill our guy and get a treasure. Then they fly, they hit us for 2, and they get to venture. So we're going to have to play Charmed Sleep on that. We untap. We draw Monk class. Let's go ahead and put that Scion of Stygia to sleep. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 2, take him to 10. They untap. They play a Genie Windseer. And they play a second wizard class. You can't multi-class wizard into wizard. That doesn't make any sense. Play an island. And we will play a Shortcut Seeker. Pass the turn. Whoa, double wizard. What does it mean? Opponent attacks us for 3. That's fine. We take 3, go to 15. Opponent plays a blue dragon. So they shrink our guys. We untap. We draw a teleportation circle. Go to combat. Attack for 0. Opponent no blocks. Okay, we're going to play Zombie Ogre this turn. I still want to draw white mana. We're going to have to find a good answer for that blue dragon. And I'm not yet sure what it is, but we got to find it in a hurry. Opponent goes to combat and attacks for 8 in the air, which we can do nothing about. Go to 7. Then they play a Skullport Merchant. And they draw more cards. We untap. We draw Plains. Okay. Well, that is what we wanted to draw, but we got to think about that. We cannot get to Twisted Caverns. We can make treasures. I could play Hama Pashar, and we could venture twice. Actually, what I want to do is play Teleportation Circle and tap Blue Dragon. But if I don't, If I don't roll high enough to keep it tapped, I think we're screwed. I could play Monk class and just unsummon it, but then my opponent gets to replay and shrink our whole board again. And the problem is if I play Monk class and use the treasure to level it up, I mean, I guess I can still venture once, but I'm not doing anything else if that's the case. Yeah, I think it's our best bet. So play Monk class. If I don't bounce the Blue Dragon, if I bounce the Genie Windseer instead, they can't shrink our guy, which means we could venture an additional time next turn, but we're taking a lot of extra damage, and it doesn't really change all that much. It's probably also easier for them to get around. Yeah, let's bounce the Windseer. Can we kill them with damage somehow? I don't think so.
So let's get our scry and see if we can't hit something that will help here. Hit our opponent down to 8. Venture into Fandelver. Go scrying. I want to draw second planes. If I do, I can venture 2 more times, which means I could shrink this to an X1, but they'd still have a 3/3. I can go to the Dark Pool. Actually, I will leave that on top. We might just be able to pull this off, potentially. It's going to be really close. Okay, opponent attacks us for 5 in the air. We go to 2. Never mind, we're dead. Tried really hard, but we did not draw white mana soon enough. Alright, run it back. I would like to play first. This hand is not keepable. This hand is. It's a little bit sketchy, but I do have to put back the gelatinous cube, unfortunately. Evolving Wilds is immediately going to get an island. Pass the turn. We are probably going to start with Potion of Healing, because we do need to draw land number 3. Okay, that is not land number 3. Opponent plays a Horde Robber, so we really need a land. That is not a land. Play Monk class. This way, if they use the treasure to get ahead on tempo, we can at least unsummon whatever it is they play and delay them for a bit while we try and draw land. They hit us with Horde Robber, and they get a treasure. They play a Yuan Ti Fangblade. They did not use the treasure. We untap. We draw Barrowin. I do not know what it is about this deck. Maybe I'm not playing enough land, but that's pretty brutal. Opponent hits us with Horde Robber. They get a second treasure. They replay the Fangblade. And then they play Arcane Investigator. We untap. I don't know what to do about this, really. Pass the turn. This is frustrating, because this is the first time we've had a deck and been in a situation where I was like, oh my gosh, we might actually trophy for once. Kano's kind of figured out the format, and like this happens. And it's really demoralizing, because our deck is so cool, and it's so broken in a lot of ways. And I would have kept this hand basically every single time. 2 mana and a redraw. Like, maybe I was supposed to get black mana and play Krydle and try and, yeah, opponent activates Arcane Investigator. So, I mean, we're going to discard Krydle here, because we have Barrowin, but not that that matters. Yep. Opponent is starting to snowball because they're making more mana and still venturing into the dungeon. Okay, we finally draw a Swamp. 3rd land on turn 7. Okay, play Pashar, not only because it can block one of the 2/1s, but because it can double gain life, or can have Precipitous Trop gain us life. Okay, opponent draws another card. They untap. I'm sorry, I thought I was going to play Magic this game. And then they go to the Dark Pool and kill us. What a disappointing end. But, I mean, it goes to show you that, like, mana problems are no joke. And you definitely need... You definitely need to be taking Evolving Wilds higher if you're going to be playing 3-color decks. Yeah, honestly, other than, like, maybe another card that made treasure, maybe I should have taken a Horde Robber, so I had something else. Honestly, we had a couple of double color cost cards, too many to probably be playing the way that we were playing, but I think our deck was really, really sick, and as long as we hit our mana, we were pretty much destined to win any game that we played. So, that's unfortunate. We just got unlucky twice in a row, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few times have been earlier than that. And, yeah, you're all wonderful human beings, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of July. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate your support. And if you want to have your guys' names show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you all so much.